Do you think you need nearly a week to experience Athens? Well, we were there for 3 nights and we gave it a damn good shot. So strap in and see what our itinerary was. You might even want to follow it yourselves. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know this is going to be a budget trip. I'm going to tell you at the end how much we spent and you'll be blown away. But if you've watched any of my other videos, you know it won't be a lot. So we got there quite late because that's the way cheap flights work. You usually don't get the best either side. It was literally just time to go to bed. Now, we were staying in Ammonia. A lot of people slate it, and to be honest, I think if you're travelling with young kids, I probably wouldn't go there. However, it was just me and Book. Book is nearly 21 and a university student and world-wise, but it's still a sketchy area. You know, we had to walk through a red light district, but the hotel was clean, it had a balcony, and it was warm because the nights are quite cool in December, but it was too late to get anything to eat in a restaurant. So we dived into the local takeaway, and you'll never believe how much this cost. We got 2 traditional Greek gyros, 2 cans of pop, and a bottle of water each for our adventures the next morning for €8. I mean, what is the UK doing wrong? You'd pay £8 for a kebab these days. 2 cans of Sprite, or 7-Up, whatever it is, 2 bottles of water, €8, boom. As I said earlier, this is my itinerary. You really want to make your own. I'm just going to tell you how much we can squeeze into 3 days. So me being me, up and at 'em quite early. I don't know how Book puts up with me on these trips because Book hasn't quite got the same energy as me. They should, because they're less than half my age. And we were straight to the Acropolis area. The only downside for me was we hit the first place for breakfast and I thought it was a little bit overpriced, but it was still very nice. It was basically a croque madame, which is a croque monsieur with an egg on top. That was probably €25 for the 2 of us with coffee and fancy iced tea. We're on holiday, what the hell? And when you find out how much I saved, you'll understand why I wasn't too fussy about how much I spent. Now, a lot of people say you should go to the Acropolis Museum first. And there's a lot of sense in that because you might understand what's going on at the top a little bit better. But I wouldn't say we got lost, but we thought we joined the queue for the museum and it was actually the queue for the Acropolis. And I thought, you know what, it looks quiet enough. I'm going to bang up there now. Because it was early, it was open at 9, the museum doesn't open till 10. So that was an hour that we spent doing things in what a lot of people consider is the wrong order. But let's face it, I'm no history buff. I just wanted to go up there and see some broken rocks. And we did, and we had a fantastic time. Well worth it. However, we were there in the shoulder season. It's only €10 each to go up. If you're going in the main season, it's €20. Family of 4, that's €80 to go and look at some old rocks. For us, it was €20 to go and look at some old rocks. It was worth it. Bear in mind there are some great viewpoints in the city where you can see the old rocks fairly well and say you were there. And another top tip, if you want to get close to some old rocks, if you come over the theatre side, you can look through some railings at the original amphitheatre. You can just imagine Keith Richards playing there when it was opened. It depends what you're going to Athens for. If you're going there for the old rocks, you've got to go up. Now the museum is really nice. It's got an awful lot of sculptures, an awful lot of relics, and the way they've got it laid out. Now, I've seen the Parthenon sculptures or the Elgin marbles in London, and before going, I always thought, you know what, you don't change history. That's where they are now, that's where they should stay. After seeing how much the Greeks revere the marbles and the sculptures, I think there is room for a discussion. The museum is an amazing testament to the ancient Greek history. And the coffee terrace is just unbelievable. You walk out onto this beautiful marble floor, you can sit there, have a coffee, and they don't take your pants down. It's about €3 for a coffee, looking straight up at the Parthenon. I mean, it's well worth doing. And the museum is a little bit pricier. It is €20 each, but I'm nearly 60. I've never been to Greece. I'm going to see what I can see. Definitely recommend it. And underneath the museum, there's excavated ruins that are really interesting. That's all part of the experience. You can easily kill a couple of hours there. €20 for a couple of hours, not a bad deal. Again, if you're going as a bigger family, you've got younger kids that might not be into it, you might want to save a couple of quid by skipping this, but if there's only 2 of you, it's not going to break the bank. So you've got to lunchtime, you spent €30 each. You can spend a lot more than that in some cities. So from there, we walked back into the main city, headed for the Syntagma Square. We were lucky enough to catch the changing of the guards. When I say changing of the guards, Every half hour they just swap positions. And it's quite moving. It's really worth a watch. So you can see it every hour, and then they change the actual guards on the hour. And seeing that, job done. And we headed off to Monastiraki just to see what all the fuss was about. Amazing square and a great place to grab what for us then was a bit of a late lunch. Weirdly, we had gyros again. Right, we're in Monastiraki Square and we're in a nice outside cafe, and guess what we're having? Gyros. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Greece, gyros. But we were sitting down and I had it with a beer, which made it a bit more interesting. And you can definitely get the energy in the square, and we resolved to definitely come back the next day. So, books and art student, we then spent the afternoon in the Modern Art Gallery, which was, I don't know my art from my elbow, but it was certainly very interesting. So the plan was to go back to that lovely area of Omonia, have a bit of a freshen up and go out for dinner. But to be honest, we'd crammed a lot into that day. The nearest restaurant, for some reason I got to it and I didn't like the look of it. So we looked at each other and thought, you know what, we're shattered, we've got another big day tomorrow. That gyros from that takeaway last night was amazing. Why don't we go back, grab another gyros and have an early-ish night, or in Book's case, chatting on their phone to their friends all over the world. For me, I was able to publish a few YouTube videos, because I'm sad. But, you know, we'd done plenty, there was nothing wrong with relaxing. It's really weird for me, because I don't normally do relaxing. I run myself ragged till it's time to go to sleep, and then I sleep. So, we've done an awful lot in just a day. We've still got more time left. So for our second full day, we started off in Monastiraki, because I'd seen the signs for a flea market, and I'm always up for a flea market. We had breakfast in a cafe in Omonia Square, simple pastry and coffee type affair, standard all over Europe. I think we got breakfast for both of us for less than €12. It's worth doing. So we gradually get ourselves over to Monastiraki just as all the stores were opening in the flea market. I managed to buy a couple of vintage communist era pins, because Suin likes that sort of thing, and I love a Lenin pin for my collection. And found another coffee place and just sat and chilled for a bit and watched the world go by. It was Sunday morning, church bells were ringing, taking in great views of the old rocks. We were just fairly close to the Roman Rigora, and yeah, it was a good way to spend half an hour, and then my itchy feet are off again. So I'd read about Plaka and I didn't really know what it was, and I thought, well hang on, we're not that far from it. So we headed out to Plaka, just following our trusty Google Maps. I'd done a bit of an image search and I found out there was some famous steps that was all wall-to-wall restaurants. Strolled down that, took in the vibe, looked at things, souvenir shops. The only thing I will say is you've got all the restaurant owners acting like touts. You just say, listen, I'm not hungry yet, mate. But it was lovely to see. It was all whitewashed, very pretty. And once we got to the bottom, there was a guy came up to us and he was trying to tell us about his rooftop terrace restaurant. And I thought, well, I'm not hungry yet. But I took a look at his menu and thought, yeah, we'll come back. Here's a hot tip. There's always someone trying to push stuff on you. Pin it on your phone. When you're thinking about somewhere to eat tonight, at least you can remember where it is. A bit more research tells me that Mount Lycabettus is nice to go up. So, Book's getting a bit tired. I decided let's Uber our way to the train station to go up it. I think it was €5, which I thought was quite competitive. Up to a return ticket up and down Mount Lycabettus is €12. Sounds a bit expensive, but it's better than walking. And bear in mind it was getting on for upper 20 degrees, that would have been fun. So you get to the top. Now bear in mind there are no buildings in Athens that are higher than where the Acropolis is. So you're never going to get a view of the Acropolis from the top, are you? Other than up a mountain, because they can't control the heights of the mountains. The funicular railway's really interesting. You go up there, boom, straight to the top. You get up there, there's a couple of restaurants and whitewashed Greek Orthodox church. Well worth a look, well worth just spending a bit of time up there. And me being a tightwad, budget traveller, was a little bit concerned that the only refreshments up there were in a restaurant that is only up there, and I thought, oh god, this is going to be like the UK. They're going to, what kind of sausage roll do you want? And give us 20 quid. But no, we were able to get a really nice table overlooking Athens, which is an amazing view. We essentially had a sort of mixed hummus, portion of fries, and a couple of sandwiches with crisps. More than enough for a late lunch. Washed down with a pint and a glass of red, and I couldn't believe that the bill for that came to less than €30. You'd be hard pushed to get that in Wetherspoons with 2 alcoholic drinks. Oh, and book had a soft drink. So after wasting the afternoon up there, just chilling, we headed back down to Plaka and went back to the rooftop restaurant. And I said to the guys, listen, we're killing time now. We're both shattered, we just want to chill. Can we please have a good view? However, if you're going to want to kick us out after an hour, we'll take a normal table. He goes, no, you've got the place for the evening. And we really spoiled ourselves. We had a meze, we had main courses, Book had a dessert, we had a couple of cocktails, I had a bottle of red and my cocktail, and another glass of red afterwards because I'm a pig. And yes, that meal came to €100 for two, which sounds a lot, but we probably sunk 50-60 euros worth of booze. It's not a bad night out, and we took the whole evening to do it, before heading back to our hotel to get a semi-tidy night's sleep, because our last day, I think, is the biggest bonus. Most people, when they get a 3-night break, they get in there, if you're lucky, mid-afternoon. You're getting off on an early flight in the morning, your holiday's over. You might have slept there 3 nights, but you've really only had 2 days. Because of the budget element of the way I travel, we were lumbered with a late night flight back, 10 o'clock. So knowing this in advance, I'd already pre-booked us on the coach trip to Cape Sounion to see the Temple of Poseidon. They take you past the lake on the way, they give you loads of Greek history, you get a coffee when you're at Poseidon's temple, €30 each. But the biggest bonus for us was, once you've left the hotel, you've got to cart your bags around all day. Well, we're on a coach, bags on coach, bags looked after till about 1 o'clock when you're back in the city. So what do you do with your bags then? Well, in Monastiraki there's lockers. For about €6 you can throw both your bags into the lockers for anything up to 8 hours. So we explored Monastiraki again, found a great restaurant in the middle of the open air market, owned by a guy that had to be knocking 80, did a great fixed meal set price lunch, which really set us up for the flight back. You didn't need to eat anything else after that. And of course the beer flowed nicely, which took us through to what else can we do with our remaining few hours. Had a wander through Syrri and experienced the most over-the-top Christmas shop you could ever imagine. This takes us through to early evening, sit and watch the sun come down, another coffee, because we both like coffee. Well, I like coffee, but likes iced tea. Leisurely trip back to the airport to catch a plane. This is the only thing that went wrong. The plane was delayed. However, we're getting money back for that. Get in there. We're actually getting more back than the holiday cost. So let's talk about the holiday, the cost. I did my normal trick. I'm not going to run into it on here because I've been recording for ages, but you can see it on my other videos, so why not pop over and have a look. This cost us £82 each. £82. That's for flights, 3 nights in a hotel, boom. And I'm going to be honest, I think between the two of us, we only spent about £300 while we were there. So we're into this for £460. I'm getting 520 back off Wizz Air. I got paid 60 quid to go to Greece. Boom, that's got to be my cheapest holiday yet. If you like what you see, take a look at my other videos and do please comment. Don't do the same itinerary as me, make your own, but I've shown you that you can get a lot in a short weekend. Thanks for watching.